Well, hey everybody, this is your host, Kevin Johnson of the jkevinjohnson.com radio show podcast. Just here one more day, one more time. Just wanted to kind of just sit and talk with you. So lend me your ear for about 30 minutes. Hopefully get a download of good positive content that'll help you think or help make you just I just want to put a pebble in your shoe, I guess you could say, as you go along your way in your life. I always say that life is beautiful and there's lots to talk about. So let's talk. So just lend me your ear for about 30 minutes and we'll just do a little talk and kind of sit down and shoot the breeze with each other and just kind of, dialogue, I guess you could say. But lately I've been thinking about I've been reading and listening and going through the books of Enoch, the book of Enoch, book of Noah, and I'm in the book of Jasher right now, and just kind of going through these books as supplements or complements to the Bible. As you may or may not know, I like to kind of spruce through the Bible and kind of read it a little bit and read it for myself. I go to in the past I used to go to services and stuff without really checking out what the minister is saying, but the older I get, the more I find myself wanting to check things out for myself and kind of do a little research. And a couple of books that often would come up that aren't often discussed or even talked about or pointed to or looked at in our mainstream Christian churches is the books of Enoch, the book of Noah, the book of Jubilees, the book of Jasher, just to name a few. And I've decided to kind of just at least familiarize myself with them so that I understand and see what they have to say, given that a lot of these books are quoted in the Bible and they're often brought up in the Bible as well. For example, the book of Jasher is brought up in, where is the book of Jasher mentioned? Oh, it's mentioned in Joshua 10 and 13, and then also 2 Samuel 1 and 18. And then you'll see where the book of Enoch is also quoted in Jude and in 2 Peter. And if I'm not mistaken, I think even in Matthew, the book of Noah is even mentioned. If I'm not mistaken, you may want to double check me on that. But I've been going through these books, and today's, I'm going to talk about a perfect heart, a perfect peace. Perfect heart, perfect peace. Perfect heart, perfect peace. And just talking about having a heart that is perfect with God, having a heart that is all in, that is completely sold out to God, to Yahweh, to the creator of the universe, so that we can experience life and go through trials by fire, go through them successfully. And I know this is easier said than done, but it's a must do. You must have a heart that is perfect with God. And, you may not behaviorally do everything right, but it starts with having a mind and a heart that is willing and wanting to do and be everything that your Father is calling you and leading you and asking you and urging you and pushing you and has destined for you to be in this life. So, no matter what you do in life, you got to be all in. You got to be 100, as they say, 100%. You gotta be all about it, no limit, because if you half step with doing anything in life, you're not going to be successful, as I'm finding as I get older. And this is a challenge. When we talk, I'm not only talking at you or to you, but I'm talking to myself as well. So we got to be all in. I'm learning as I get older that I have to be all in, because if I'm not all in, if I'm not on fire, if I have not ignited a passion with me for whatever goal or whatever thing has been designated for me to pursue or cultivate or chase after in my life, it's I'm setting myself up for failure for failure. So you got to make sure that, as they say, dream big and go hard, and don't stop until you actually reach that brass ring, until you actually obtain what you've set after to do. It's either reach your destination or bust. They say reach your destination or death, as they say. So I just want to take a moment and kind of talk about having a perfect heart. One of the things what got me on this line of thinking, what kind of jumped out to me was this morning I was listening to the book of Jasher, and I came along the story of Abram when he confronts King Nimrod in chapter 12 concerning the backstory is he had destroyed, after much learning with Noah and after learning about Yahweh, after staying with Noah and Shem, Abram comes to the knowledge of Yahweh, and he comes to the knowledge of the Creator and following him versus these other gods. And in the course of events, he goes to his father's house, and he Terah, and he finds a room full of other gods that his father Terah was bowing and serving, and it angered Abram. He was angered, righteously angered, and he destroyed those gods. And in the course of events, his father turned him over to Nimrod. Your own dad turns you over to King Nimrod, and King Nimrod asks him about the matter. And Abram said, "Yeah, man, it's all true." He said, "And why are you doing it?" Now that's a brave. You have to have a perfect heart with God. You have to be. I won't go through it now, but to just the backstory on Nimrod is that he's just not no regular king. He's not a regular guy. He's not a regular man. He's not just anybody. He is a world ruler. He's a world kingdom ruler. He's not your ordinary human, so to speak. So the word in the book of Jasher, you're led to believe that over the course of events, his father gives him the garments that Adam and Eve had that was made by God when God first clothed them. And when he put these garments on at 20 years old, it done something to him. It changed him, or it made him more than regular human. It just made him superhuman, maybe. It doesn't really go into depth, or I have to reread it and research it more, but it done something to Nimrod that changed him and made him more powerful than your ordinary guy. So Abram's just not talking to a regular normal king. He's talking to a guy who's quote unquote a mighty hunter, which means he was a tyrant, which means that he hunted men, which means that he was a tyrant. He hunted men. He was a killer. He was a killing king, and he was powerful, and he was a world ruler. And you have Abram filled with the Spirit, talking to Nimrod like, "Why are you serving these gods?" So after that conversation, pretty much Nimrod's like, "We're gonna kill him, and we're gonna kill." And he asked Terah about who put. Over the conversation, Nimrod finds out that Abram is the son that the magicians and stuff had talked about years ago, that Abram was going to cause his downfall. Abram was going to affect him in some way. So earlier, at his birth, he was supposed to have been killed by Nimrod, but Terah, his father, did a switcheroo with one of his servants' sons, and Nimrod ended up killing one of Terah's servants' sons instead of killing Abram in his birth, after his birth in his youth as a baby. So over the course of events, Abram now returns and he challenges Nimrod and his serving of other gods, and it's found out that Terah did the switcheroo, and then Nimrod questions Terah about the matter. Is Abram who I was supposed to have killed, but you did a switcheroo? And Terah's like, yeah, it's true. And then he's like, well, who put you up to this? And Terah, the father, lies and said that Abram's brother, Haran, put him up to it. Haran. Now, this is some kind of family dynamics going on here, and that the father is lying about the son advising him on doing a switcheroo at Abram's birth in order to save Abram's life. This is some kind of family dynamics that the father would put the son, and Haran did not do this, on the hot seat like this. And then Nimrod's like, well, I'm going to kill who advised you, which is your son Haran. So I'm going to kill Haran, throw him in the fire, in a hot fiery furnace, and I'm going to kill Abram too. But I'm going to spare your life, Terah. Now, this is some kind of family dynamics going on here. So if you think your family's bad and dysfunctional, just look at this story. And there's plenty more of those stories, not only in the book of Enoch, Noah, Jasher, and Jubilees, but also in the regular Bible. When you start going through these stories, it's like, wow, this is real life. This is real people doing real stuff. My family ain't the only crazy family out there. Your family isn't the only dysfunctional, crazy family out there. God can work through any family, any circumstance, any situation, and bring good out of it. So all praise goes to God on that one, because that's something we definitely need to know. And this is why it's important that you have a perfect heart. So no matter where you find yourself, when you find yourself with God, it doesn't matter. All things work to your good, to the benefit of you. So just know that, and that whatever fiery trial, trouble, tribulation, whatever trouble you have now, the goal is to maintain your integrity and maintain a heart that is perfect, so you can remain in perfect peace beyond all understanding, whether you're grieving, whether you're happy, whether you're content, whether you're not content, whether you're hungry, whether you're enslaved, whether you're captured, tortured, whatever the circumstances may be. And I know this is easier said than done, given that I'm sitting behind a mic. But I got to tell you, just because I'm sitting behind a mic doesn't mean it's all goes well for me. And I know all does not go well for you. I spruce and browse over the headlines of the day. I really don't go into a lot of depth on them, because it's nothing but negativity. But I kind of keep my eye on these things just to kind of gauge on what kind of decisions I need to make in my personal life to make sure I mitigate and keep a margin, and make sure I cultivate and live in a state of preparation versus desperation. You don't want to be caught with the train on the track, just 2 feet in front of you. But if you see it coming 20 feet, you want to make sure you get off the track as much as you can. Untether yourself from this system. But anyway, I don't want to digress and go on the rabbit trail just yet. But yeah. Well, let me read the story. Like I said, I got caught up in this story, and you can see in the book of Jasher, chapter 12, verse 19, is talking about Haran, and we're talking about having a perfect heart, a heart that is wholeheartedly one in seeking the Father, seeking the Creator. And it said that Haran said in his heart, "Behold, now the king has seized Abram on account of these things which Abram did. And it shall come to pass that if Abram prevail over the king, I will follow him. But if the king prevail, I will go after the king." And when Terah had spoken this to the king concerning Haran his son, the king ordered Haran to be seized with Abram. So as I've relayed to you, Haran was lied on by his father. He did not advise his father to do a switcheroo at Abram's birth. on King Nimrod. But it just talks about what was going on in Haran's head and his heart when the decision was being made about the situation and circumstance going on. And it said that Haran was inclined, or he was inclined to start following his brother Abram. But we see that that's not even though he was inclined, his beliefs or his trust or his heart was not perfect, and that it was outcome based. It was outcome based. It was based on who prevailed. So Haran went into the situation of being thrown into the fire with the heart that said that, if Abram prevails over the king, then I'll follow Abram, even though I'm inclined to follow Abram. But if the king prevails over, if Abram prevails over the king, or if the king prevails over Abram, then I'll follow the king. I'm a fair weather believer. Fair weather believer. And God is not for lukewarm. God is not for fair weather believers, but he wants people who are either hot or cold. Wow. I'm speaking to myself too. So you got to be either hot or cold in this thing. He wants a relationship where you're all in. Who in the world wants to be in a relationship with a significant other who isn't all in, who is halfway in, who is outcome based, but who does not remember the covenant, the agreement? Wow. Marriage is somebody questioned me about marriage, and I refute, or I limit what I say about marriage and relationships. I say, yeah, you got to find out for yourself. You got to get in the scriptures and see what the scriptures say. You know what they say. Just one thing I can only quote what the Bible says about marriage, and it says that it's forever, to death do us part, and there's only one circumstance for departure, for divorce. And the only reason we have divorce, the only reasons for divorce is because of hardened hearts on the matter. And other than adultery, fornication, other than that. But marriage is a covenant. Relationships with God is a covenant, not a contract. A contract has fine print. It has clauses and all this kind of stuff. But a covenant is I've made a decision to commit, and that's it. I've made a decision to commit, and that is it. It's not based on outcome. It's based on an understanding, I guess you could say, or just, God's covenant with us is because he loves us, period. Ours is a response to that love. All that you say we will do, as Israel said. Wow. So that's that. So we see that Haran's heart was outcome based, and he was not fully committed. He was a fair weather believer, and we'll see what happens. Up in verse 26, we see. Let's go to verse 23. And they bound their hands and feet with linen cords, and the servants of the king lifted them up and cast them both into the furnace. And the Lord loved Abram, and he had compassion over him. And the Lord came down and delivered Abram from the fire, and he was not burned, but all the cords with which they bound him were burnt, while Abram remained and walked about in the fire. And Haran died when they had cast him into the fire, and he was burned to ashes, for his heart was not perfect with the Lord. And those men who cast him into the fire, the flame of the fire spread over them, and they were burned, and 12 men of them died. And Abram walked in, verse 27, and Abram walked in the midst of the fire 3 days and 3 nights, and all the servants of the king saw him walking in the fire, and they came and told the king, saying, Behold, we have seen Abram walking about in the midst of the fire, and even the lower garments which are upon him are not burned, but the cord which he was bound is burned. So we see that in this story how, because Abram's heart was perfect, he was kept, and how Haran's heart was not perfect with God, and he died in the midst of the fire. So, you want to make sure, you want to sure up your heart with you want to sure up your beliefs with your Creator, so that no matter what comes and what goes in your life, you can uphold and keep your integrity, and you can have perfect peace beyond understanding. So I just wanted to encourage you today, and encourage me today, and be just throw some just speak some positive content into your ear today, that no matter what you're going through, no matter where you may find yourself, no matter where you are, just know that when you have a heart that is perfect with God, you will be kept. You will have rejoicing in the end, and have rejoicing during the process. It's not going to be all doom and gloom. I don't want to ever speak that. You're going to have your up days, you're going to have your down days, and then you're just going to have your days. You know what I'm saying? So with that, you want to do all you can on a day-to-day basis to maintain and cultivate and to grow a perfect heart, which means a heart that is completely entrapped in bond, in servitude to the Creator. A heart that is so just in love with the Creator that you would do anything for him. You will go through anything for him. You will go through the fire. So I just wanted to speak that to you today, just talking about having a perfect heart. And this is very important. This is essential in that the world we live in is highly volatile. There's all kind of things I can really talk about and hone in on, but I won't. It doesn't do any good. I'm sure if you turn on your local news, if you turn on the national news, you're going to see all kind of stuff. Anything from the Paris attacks to the war in Syria to famines here, famines there, disease here, disease there. You name it, it's been harped on. And don't forget, there's also a lot of positivity out there too. There's a lot of good stories out there that does not get broadcasted because it doesn't attract the audience size that the advertisers, the networks need and like in order to sustain and maintain that flow of money that they like to come in. So just appreciate and learn to appreciate and cultivate a love of nature and a love of just the good things that we're surrounded by that we often overlook and overstep in our day-to-day goings about. For example, I walked outside the other day and with my sons, and they were like, look, Daddy. And I said, what? And they looked up, they had me look up at the sky and look at the magnificent clouds formation that was right before their eyes, and I was happy and I was glad about it because that they noticed this before me, in that it was just a small example of many examples of how the appreciation and love of just the simple things in life could put a smile on your face, and how that seed has taken root and it's growing. So I'm often taking pictures of birds and flowers and insects and just landscapes and people, beautiful people, and just to appreciate these things. And these things really do help you cultivate and help you maintain a level of peace. That's just one simple strategy, actually, is just use your social media platforms to constantly be consuming and taking in peaceful things that bring you joy and puts a smile on your face, and it makes you laugh and makes you happy, because life isn't always like that. That's just the way it is. So do as much as you can to make sure that you're smiling and that you're getting some feel goods in. So just a few more verses and scriptures that I wanted to pull in here that I kind of just looked at was One was what was that? It was let me see. First Kings 8:61, talking about I think it was, let me see here, 8:61 real quick. Let me pull that up. Just looking it up. 8, let your heart therefore be perfect with the Lord our God, to walk in his statutes and to keep his commandments at this day. And I think this was talking to Solomon, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see here real quick. Let me see here. Well, let me go to 1 Kings 11:4. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father. So yeah, it was Solomon, and we see how in his youth it was perfect, and as he got older, his wives, he got distracted. Life gets us distracted, and lo and behold, you may find yourself your heart may not be perfect. You may be wavering. You may have gone from being hot and on fire to lukewarm and have no desire. So we want to make sure we have to make sure that we cultivate this desire so we can maintain perfect hearts with God. So yeah, it was 1 Kings 8:61, and then also 1 Kings 11:4. Those are the two main ones I wanted to kind of bring in that I was looking at as far as what got me on this little rabbit trail of making sure we have a heart of that is perfect with him. And before I get off, I just want to talk about some simple strategies and tips that you can incorporate in your life that will help you help you maintain, help you cultivate a heart that is just whole, that is perfect, and that is whole, and that will help you stay on track. Let me go here. Some practical tips and strategies that I implemented in my life to help you live in a state of preparation versus desperation, that will help you have a heart that is perfect, that is wholeheartedly for God. And some of these tips and strategies and things, these little small things may not seem like it's related, or may not seem like it's a big deal, but it's like the older I get and the more I start implementing these things in my life, I just see how it all goes hand in hand. For example, and one thing you can't forget, that as being humans, that we are multifaceted beings. We have a body, which is our vehicle. We have a heart that is the seat of our emotions, where our mind and will rest. We have a brain, a mind that's a powerful tool, powerful quantum calculating organ that helps us process information and dissect information, and helps us get along in this world, this highly complex world that we live in. And then all this comes together to form our spiritual man. We are the only way we're animated for life is by having the animating spirit of God in all of us. We all have this spirit, but we're born in a world in which this has been severed. This connection to the source has been severed, which is why we need a relationship through Jesus Christ, so we can so this connection can get reattached, and that we can become one, resonating with truth and receiving power from the infinite, unlimited source. So a spirit that is not connected to the source is a dying spirit, a thirsty and hungering spirit. So which is why it's important that you get a relationship, so that you can connect with the infinite, and you can have life more abundant, so to speak, eternal life. And we're born into a kingdom of darkness, but when you get this connection, you are literally transformed, transfigured, transmuted, mutated, you are literally dragged from one kingdom to another kingdom. So this is why this is very important. But so in saying that, some practical tips that has helped me and that I often go back to whenever I do find myself getting off track is simple things like eating real food, eating food in the source closest to nature as you can find it. And I know this may seem like where are you coming? This is left field, Kevin, but trust me, this is real. And when I say this is because a lot of the foods that we eat today are superficial. They're not real. They're processed, and processed food produces processed people. You become what you eat. Remember that. So you want to eat whole foods as much as possible, natural foods. You want to go to the farm as much as you can. Eat real foods as close to being as unprocessed you can tolerate, and as much as possible. I'm not saying it's going to be 100%, but as much as you can get it into your life, do it. And what you'll find is this will help keep you content and keep you satiated and not wanting. The processed foods that we eat today keeps you wanting. It keeps you in a every 2 hours cycle. It keeps you not satiated. Which takes away from your peace because you're always on the hunt. If you know anything about addiction, if you know anything about having that unfulfilled void in your life, it's miserable because you're always on the hunt for something that's going to satiate that thirst, that hunger that you have in yourself. So this is why you want to eat real food, because it helps quiet that. And when your stomach is full, man, a lot of problems a lot of stuff just don't get to you. I tell you that. When you got a full stomach, you take naps. You just don't care. Stuff doesn't get to you when you're satiated. Come on, y'all know what I'm talking about. After a good meal, what you want to do? You want to sit down and relax. Well, how about, that's what good food does to you. It's you sit down and relax, and the little troubles of life didn't really get to you. This is, think about it. When you're at funerals, what's one of the things you do after the funeral? You have dinners, and a lot of people will pitch in and help the ones who are mourning. They'll bring them good meals because you don't feel like cooking and eating and all that kind of stuff. But when somebody brings you a meal that's already done and stuff, and you eat it, you feel restored. You feel like, okay, I can make it. I can get through. So you want to eat real food. I know this doesn't make sense, but it does make sense. And then also you want to exercise. This helps alleviate and reduce stress in your life. It helps take your mind off things. It helps get your emotions in check. It helps keeps things balanced. It helps rid your body of toxicity on all levels. It helps. Exercising is very essential and very important to maintaining perfect peace, a heart of perfect peace in your life. This is why work is important, because you're exercising the body. When you exercise the body, you're exercising the mind, the will, and emotions, and it's good. It's good. It's a good therapeutic practice, so to speak, to help cultivate a heart of peace. You want to put good positive media into your life. This means books, music, podcasts, whatever form of media you like to consume. Let it be good and positive, something that's going to build your DNA up, not break it down. Good music. You want to put all these good things in you so that because what goes in, what will come out. So you want to consume good media, good. You want to incorporate good therapeutic practices in your life, like going to the chiropractor, like getting massage therapy, like getting pedis and medis and getting your hair done, get your hair did, and putting on nice fine linen, nice clothes. These are good therapeutic practices, clothes that if you can find them, if you can afford them, that are 100% cotton and 100% wool. I know this stuff doesn't make sense, but there's a reason why all this stuff is talked about and why it's even placed in the Bible. You might say, Kevin, that's Old Testament. We don't got to do that. But let me say that in the Old Testament, you'll find some good practices that when you really get into them, it's like, wow, these instructions for life really are instructions for life for the human existence on all levels. and it affects us on all levels of human existence. So you want to get even essential oils. I've been delving into and talking about essential oils a lot lately. In that I was skeptical about them, or I was just kind of curious about them about a year ago. But since I incorporated them into my life, it's really helped my emotional life and my mental life, but my emotions, which is what an area of my life in which I needed to kind of delve into and kind of help. So looking at essential oils, I know this sounds far-fetched, but just if I could say, trust me and try it for yourself, then maybe you'll come to the same conclusion. Good relationships. You want to work on communication, work on forging and finding good relationships with like-minded individuals and people that make you, that help you out and build you up. So you want to limit those who tear you down, and you want to cultivate those who build you up. Then you want to supplement with whole foods, and you want to supplement with good supplements. I know this sounds far-fetched, but it is true. I've started supplementing with what's known as the Foundational 4 a couple of years back, and ever since then I've noticed that I've become more balanced, more stable. I've noticed that a lot of symptoms and stuff that I was dealing with that made me anxious and made me worry a lot, made me kind of weak, gave me a weak feeling and not sure and confident. A lot of these things just naturally started going away. I started living in the present more and just enjoying life that I've been given. Learn self-defense. Learn how to box. Learn how to do some MMA. Learn how to do some ground fighting, some judo. Learn how to do some Muay Thai, some Krav Maga. This will help give you confidence and help you give you some form of assurance that you know how to take care of yourself, and that you're just not gonna take a beating. That if you go down, you're gonna make sure that whoever's doing the beating or whoever you in war with, they're gonna know that they was in war with you. So this will help you get some perfect peace, and that you'll know that your hands are trained for war if they have to. You don't walk around looking for war. You walk around making peace, but if they want war, you give it to them. Develop multiple streams of income. This is very important in today's time, given our economy with the way things are going, with our markets being highly volatile and our markets not really being sure. And then if you know anything about the Feds and stuff with regard to the United States and stuff like that, you know that our money system is all built on what's it called? On fraud, and it's not based on anything real, but it's based on I forgot the word for it. It's an illusion. Let's put it that way. Green paper is worthless. So just know that green paper is worthless. So you want to develop multiple streams of income. You want to develop multiple avenues of income coming in, so you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. And along those lines, you want to learn how you want to invest in multiple areas as far as investing. Invest in people, invest in land, invest in places, real estate, invest in precious metals, invest in commodities, invest in things that last, people, place, and property. You not green paper, not 401ks. You can't touch it. You don't own it. You don't want to put all your hope and trust in Social Security, do you? I would advise against that. So you want to the other things you want to learn how to invest in, as I had mentioned, and then also you want to pray, have passion, live with purpose, so you can live powerfully. So you want to make sure that you communicate and have a relationship and cultivate some time with talking to God. I know this is easier said than done, and sometimes we don't want to do it, but what else you gonna do? You have to do it. You have to talk to Him, no matter where you're at in your life, no matter what you're going through, whether you consider yourself righteous or good enough. You have to do it. Who else you gonna talk to? The therapist, the psychiatrist? They got therapists and psychiatrists. You know, your therapist and your psychiatrist got therapists and psychiatrists. Really? You would put all your hope and confidence in that? Not to say not to do it. Not to speak ill against these things, but at the same time, you want to make sure you're talking to the ultimate one. So, with that, this is Kevin over at the jkevinjohnson.com podcast radio show / just talking to you. Life is beautiful, and there's lots to talk about, so let's talk. It was nice of you all to just sit and give me some time. I kind of went over, but hopefully you'll forgive me. So may his face shine upon you and give you peace and be gracious unto you. Peace.